Are there any moments in time when you've been on the marsh that really stand out in your mind as being quite special?
Yeah, about 10 years ago I saw the first bittern, and never dreamt we'd ever see a bittern. And probably if things had changed, stayed how they were, we would never have seen one. But because bitterns are on the increase everywhere else, we're fortunate now to have a pair of bitterns, which actually fledged for the first time this year. But it took 10 years for one bittern to become two. So that's a real standout moment. All right, my name, Mark Hambling. I've worked here for 51 years, and you are at Raveningham Estate. And today we are looking at the wetland which I created in 2002. The whole site is 50 hectares, 125 acres-ish, and we grew wheat down there for 25 years. The area was chosen at a particular time when we finished doing commercial arable farming, and the yields had gradually gone down and down over the years from the start when we did it. And we decided then to move the grassland to the upland on the clay for the dairy cows and turn the grassland where the wheat used to grow back to where it should be, the grassland. This is my original little small folder with just a few facts in I had to start with. So we'll go back to the first pictures I ever took on the marsh, which was the stubble of 2002 after harvest. Just tried to get some water on, and with some digger work managed to build up quite a piece of water so I could see that the marshes could then be flooded the following year. I did all my maps just on pencil and paper with codes on the side and measurements of all the digger work what would be needed on each marsh. The dikes were very encroached with marginal reed and weed, so we cleaned them out to the original depth and then done scrapes on every dike either side to enhance obviously a reed bed and a new habitat for waterfowl and everything else what would live on the side of a dike with a sloping side rather than a deep ditch, so everything could actually climb in and climb out. And in 2003, September, the first water was allowed to come on and we started to flood the marsh. You can do it with a minimum amount of equipment. I mean, you go in for a big project with big diggers, big lorries, big everything, it costs millions. But we done most of ours with one digger, a teleporter and a trailer, just to show really can be done whether you've got one meadow or 50 meadows. It can be done very cheaply and very small scale. It doesn't have to be a huge scale. Well, it'll definitely fill today with the amount of flow coming in, so it'll fill today. There'll be something walking in here tonight, probably a heron, or herons are probably the obvious to come first. This is just proving the fact you don't need a 20-ton digger to dig a small scrape. As most farms have got a small JCB of some description or a digger, and for 2 hours work you've created something that weren't here yesterday, so it will bring dividends to obviously the waders and everything else what comes here.
Along the way?
I've learnt that if you don't put any work into the wetland, it doesn't work. You can't leave it to nature. We've got marshes on our boundaries what are left to nature, and nothing will go in them at all because they're so overgrown with thistles, junctus, ragwort. So that takes a high level of management to keep them for what we've got year after year. Just topping the old grass off and any rogue thistles or rubbish what would be in there, and getting ready for the next bit of grass to grow through for the autumn time for the winter and wildfowl to come in. and they in turn graze it down for the springtime. By the time the redshank and the lapwing want to nest, we've got them the right size sward for the cover the nests and perfect habitat.
So I'm Adam Gage. I've been on Raveningham Estate now for 16 years. So my role down on the marsh is mainly fox control, magpie control, well, corvid control in general. We'll trap for stoats and weasel down here. We've got mink wrasse, which we've seen earlier in the dikes. Fox controls all year round. One of the things we do down here is using the trail cameras. We'll use places where we gralloch the deer, using the gralloch as a baiting site, and we'll put a camera. And then we'll come back at night, sitting on these areas, waiting for the foxes to come in, but also using the cameras to tell us when they're coming in and what time they're coming in. It supports what we're doing with the habitat to make sure that the ground nesting birds have maximum chance of survival. If we didn't do the fox control or the stoat control or the weasel control, this wouldn't happen, and you wouldn't see what we see down here on a daily basis.
Right from the start we had the redshank and the lapwing, which we thought would be successful, but not until the avocet turned up was the main feature. I thought, yes, we've really got this going how it should be going. And all the information I'd been given about avocet, how fussy and particular they are, if you can keep them and rear chicks, everything must be right for everything else. And we still get avocet to this day, 11 pairs this year. And then we come to the bird record of Norton 2003 to date, which is quite impressive, I think, to what we've seen over the years. We've now got 131 species, the latest two seen within the last month, which was a white stork and a windchat, which was caught on the weekend while setting out the mist nets. If I can see one different bird every year from now onwards, I'll be more than pleased, which is a very small thing to ask. So yeah.
What part of the wetland project are you most proud of?
Well, I'm proud of the whole thing because it works, but I don't know, I can't say what I'm proud of the most really. Yes. Seeing other people enjoy it and having good comments from the people we have visit, I suppose, is a big enjoyment. That was a job to start with, and yeah, I got really taken in by it, and yeah, something about seeing water run somewhere when you've got a buoyant mind in your head. Fascination by water.